Modern students are navigating a high-stakes gauntlet of assignments, daily tuitions, and the constant pressure of college applications. In this environment, ChatGPT acts as an immediate pressure release valve. Take 14-year-old Sachi from Gorgaon. To keep up with her heavy workload, she began using generative AI platforms to speed up her research and generate initial ideas for her coursework. This assistance quickly expanded. The tool transitioned from a brainstorming aid to her absolute first option for every assignment, eventually taking over her entire creative process. The breaking point arrived during an English class. Sachi submitted a flawless analytical essay that hit every mark on the rubric, except it was entirely generated by AI. When her teacher asked her to explain the analysis to the rest of the class, her mind went blank. She stood there, unable to articulate the logic she had supposedly written. In the silence of that classroom, Sachi realized that by letting the software do the heavy lifting, her own internal sequence of thought had become rigid and robotic. This classroom failure serves as an early indicator of a silent biological shift occurring inside a generation's developing brains. This shift is driven by a psychological mechanism called cognitive offloading. It occurs when we use an external tool to reduce the mental effort required to complete a task. Neurologist Dr. Sid Warrior points out we've seen this before. We lost the ability to memorize phone numbers once mobile devices took over. Now, the modern classroom applies this logic to higher-order functions. Students are offloading active critical thinking, reasoning, and creativity to remote servers. A teenage brain is a construction site. To develop the skills needed to analyze and question the world, the brain requires mental friction, the specific effort of working through a problem. When a student wrestles with a concept, neural pathways strengthen. When AI provides an instant answer, that struggle is bypassed, and the pathway withers from this use. Experts warn that removing this necessary friction during the brain's most plastic years could lead to these pathways remaining underdeveloped as students reach adulthood. The immediate ease of AI answers robs the adolescent brain of the biological struggle required to build a capacity for independent thought. These cognitive shifts are already appearing in the data. An MIT Media Lab study recently analyzed students who relied on ChatGPT for their work. The study found that students heavily reliant on AI consistently underperformed linguistically and behaviorally compared to those using traditional research tools. This is a result of neuroplasticity. The brain physically rewires itself based on the tasks it performs, or the tasks it stops performing. While social media previously targeted our attention spans, as noted in a 2024 Nature study, generative AI now targets the neural mechanisms responsible for reasoning. Unlike stable adult brains, a teenager's neural network, particularly in the prefrontal cortex, is still actively forming, making it highly impressionable to these habit shifts. The data indicates that for students with developing brains, using AI as a primary reasoning tool is linked to a measurable decline in cognitive performance. Banning the technology is no longer an option. OpenAI is already dropping 500,000 licenses into Indian schools, integrating AI directly into the education system. This creates a secondary risk. AI models often carry the inherent biases of the high socioeconomic creators who programmed them. If students lose the ability to think critically, they may absorb and repeat these biases without ever having the mental tools to question them. Sachi eventually found a middle ground. She didn't delete the tool, but she changed how she interacted with it to protect her own development. She adopted the Feynman technique, using the AI as a conversational partner to validate her understanding. School guidelines recommend a return to in-class handwritten assignments. And for parents, the advice is to review a child's process notes, praising the effort rather than the output. AI can be a powerful co-pilot for the mind, but it becomes a danger the moment we let it replace the pilot.